Okay, this is the second part of Save Game, so if you've not seen the first video for the Capture Siren Save Game, you really ought to see that first. If you have watched it, then you know that we looked at two possibilities. I've given you the solution for the easy one, and now I want to look at the solution for the trickier one. I'm going to cut straight to the solution, and we're going to go down to everything else is the same, by the way, apart from the call to not the call, the actual procedure itself. So assuming it's getting called in the same way, everything else is the same. As I say, if you've not seen the video, I strongly recommend you go and watch it. So with the simple saved game, we just dumped the whole of the array. Rank 1 to 8, file 1 to 8, dead simple. This looks a bit simpler. So this looks very similar, not simpler, but we've added an if statement in. And we're saying we're only going to bother writing if the element contents are not blank blank. And that's more important. Remember that the empty squares are not actually empty elements of the array. They hold two space characters. But if there isn't two space characters, then we're going to assume that there must be a piece in that place, so we're going to write it. We're going to use the same print line statement, but we're going to store the rank number, the file number, and the contents of that element of the array. When we run that, we get this file. So this is the sample game. You can see that's very, very neat. We go rank, file, contents. So we've now got a very predictable file format for us to read. Talking of reading the file format, talking of reading that, if we now go to initialize board, which is where we're actually doing the loading, we've still got equals L, but now we've got actually three sections to it. The first section is that we're going to preload every element of the board with a space. If we don't do that, then when we come to read from the file, there'll be a load of empty elements, and then it won't look right on the screen. It'll all be misaligned. Second element is the loading of the file, and opening of the file, etc. And the third element is the interesting bit. Rather than being able to use a for loop, because we don't know how many pieces were saved in that board, then we're going to have to use a do loop. And we're going to have to use this end of file object. So this is a simple function that returns true when the end of file is reached. So it's going to go dum 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 until the end of the file, and then it will stop. With all of these inputs, we really ought to have a try-catch, because actually this does fall over if you've got a completely empty file. But if we put the end of file object at the top, then I think we missed the last line from memory, but it does mean we get a slight problem if we do a completely empty file, because this input string, this line input here will produce an exception. So really it ought to be a try-catch, but let's not worry about that for now. So we've still got the line input, but I'm just going to dump it into a temporary string, which I've called input string. Then I'm going to show two methods of pulling out a number from a string in VB. The first one, if I know it's a single number, then simply minusing 48 from it, because 49 is number 1, should get me the correct rank number. The alternative, oh by the way, this is obviously using the fact that all strings are an array and you can access a single character within a string to by typing in the array element number. So 0 is the first character. ASCII returns, so if it's a number 1 it would return 49, minus 48, that equals 1, job done. The other thing we can do if we want to get a character to a integer is convert it to a string and then convert it to an integer. Kind of works. Not particularly happy about doing lots of nested ifs because generally speaking it's not that nice to try and convert characters to integers, but it's not the end of the world. Of course we could have used the mid function for both of these. Now if we want to take two characters from a string and put them into another string, then really rather need to use left, mid or right. If you don't know these functions you ought to look them up, but we're going to use right today, and this produces the rightmost. If I hover over it, these produce the rightmost two characters from a string, so those two. And you remember from the notepad view of the file that I showed you, the first character was the rank, second character was the file, and the third and fourth characters were the contents of the array. And obviously I'm closing off the file as well. So that is how you solve for the slightly trickier case of just saving the particular elements of the board that have got pieces in it. Just wanted to do this quick one because that's a supplement from the previous. Hope you found it useful.